Could this be the worst drill ever? Introducing the worst golf practice drill I've ever seen. Are you tired of wasting your time on ineffective golf practice drills? Look no further. In this video, I unveiled the drill that maybe takes the title for the worst practice drill I've ever seen. Picture this. You step onto the short game area armed with your wedges and ready to improve your technique, but instead of owning your skills, you find yourself stuck in a monotonous and pointless exercise that does nothing to enhance your game. We've all been there, frustrated and disillusioned by drills that promise results but fail to deliver. That's why I'm here to expose the worst of the worst, ensuring you never waste another minute on ineffective practice routines. In this video, I'll break down the drill step by step, highlighting its flaws and explaining why it falls short in helping you become a better golfer. I'll also provide you with alternative drills that are proven to yield real results and elevate your game to the next level. Don't let your valuable practice time go to waste. Join me as we uncover the worst golf practice drill ever and discover the key to unlocking your true potential around the green. Right, this is it. This is the one. The stick in the club when you're chipping. Maybe I went a little bit over the top and suggested it's the worst drill I've ever seen. I'm sure there are worse. But the thing is about this drill, I think it can be effective. It's just misunderstood and misused too often. The goal really is for this stick to not hit somebody's side, right? And it's the fix for somebody that thinks they're flipping the club past their hands too quickly, right? Because the stick hits you on the side. So the idea is, let's try and keep the stick off the side the whole way through the stroke, and then I won't flip it. And you're absolutely right, you won't flip it, but just look at the setup, right? Let's have a look at what's wrong with this. The setup on its own, I've already got enough lean on this club to ensure there is no chance of this leading edge skidding away from the turf, right? That bounce is not involved. We're putting in a good 19, 20 degrees of lean on this thing, right? For it just to rest against my side with a normal ball position. I could put the ball up, but all it's gonna do then is make me force it even further forwards, right? So that's a no-no. So straight away it's set up, we're eliminating the bounce. That's where this falls down immediately. Now if we step it up a notch and have a look at what actually happens in the swing, you'll see that me keeping this off my side means I start to create even more lean than I had addressed. So that leading edge is absolutely in a position to dig right now. Not only that, but I've increased the angles in my wrist, the club head has got further off the ground, and I've got work to do to get the club down to the ground. And this is kind of where I see it really start to stumble. The only way I can get this club down to the ground from here is a couple of options. I've got to lower myself somehow, so I can start to drop the knees, you know, the real yip move. I could really push down hard with my trail elbow and push the club into the ground. Now, just take a second and think about how destructive pushing a club towards the ground with the sharp leading edges. All right, it's incredibly destructive. You've got to be highly skilled to actually strike it. I just demoed a couple to start the video, right? They didn't feel great. The outcome, as you'll see down the line, the outcome was actually okay. Didn't feel right though, and I felt like I was just a hair away from a destructive miss. Now, is there a place for this? Well, yeah, there is, right? If I was trying to play a ball back, low flighted, drilled shot, I would quite happily have this stick over here, putting a ton of lean on, taking all the loft off, and driving it towards the target. But that shouldn't be your stock chip shot, all right? We're not hinging and holding. We're not trying to force this thing along the ground. If you want to hit a low shot, go down a club. It's a little bit safer. So, you know, there is a place for it. We can shove it out here, keep the stick off my side. Apologies for the noise, and hit something kind of low, releasing a little bit more. All right, it has its place, but it is not a drill to practice your stock shot. Let's have a look at how maybe we could use this better. I'll show you an alternative that I think is streets ahead of this. Here's where the worst drill could turn into maybe one of the best drills for certain kinds of players. Now, if you're the kind of player that has a decent amount of wrist action on the backswing, or in transition you start to load the club more this way, this stick can produce a really good measuring gauge of when you should be trying to line this club up. Okay, there are plenty of really good chippers and pitchers who move the butt of the club over the golf ball by the time the club is back here, all right, a lot of them. But from there, they don't continue to push and drag and push and drag through impact. They start to line this shaft up. Now that would mean, from the position my hands are now, my intent as I turn would be to have the stick reconnect to my body, all right? There is hope for this drill, so let's see what that looks like. I'm gonna make sure I have plenty of delay. You're gonna see the stick go well ahead. Then I'm gonna line it up pre-impact, Realistically, it's post-impact, but my trigger, my thought is to start lining it up pre-impact. Hopefully by the time I get to the ball, it's lined up to some degree. Now you can see that produced a higher, softer, floatier flight. It was much less driven. I started to get a little bit of benefit from the sole of the club versus leading edge. Just felt that little bit nicer. So let's see if we can go one more time with that. So a little bit of delay, get my hands over the ball and then line it up as I turn. All right, much higher, much softer. Okay, so in and of itself, having a stick in the club isn't the worst drill, maybe, if it's utilized correctly. If you stick it in here and just try and avoid the stick, touching your body, you're going to drive and drive and drive. There's going to be no bounce whatsoever on the club. It's not going to skid up off the turf, and you're going to have to force the club downwards somehow to get the club to touch the ground. Let's have a look at an alternative that I think is a nice spin on this and a little step above. Okay, I replaced the stick with the Total Golf Trainer, the grip attachment, very short rod here. This is the variation. So this ball here is going to rest pretty much against my stomach as I set up to the golf ball. So you can see it down the line there. My goal here is as I turn, and this is crucial, right? As I turn to reconnect the ball to my stomach into my follow through. All right, so I'm not going to have to try and drag it left of my body. I'm going to turn my body, line the shaft up, so exposing more bounce, reconnect and turn. It's going to take a lot of width out. You're going to see much higher, softer flight. So it's just about going to touch, depending on your build. Backswing, line the ball up and turn with it. You're going to see something much softer, very different stroke, very different release. Higher, softer, just sounded better, felt so much nicer. Let's go again. So backswing, whether it's a wide backswing, narrow, wristy, doesn't matter because we're still trying to line the club back up to that start point through impact, supported with a good pivot, good turn into your finish. So it reduces all the negative forces I might put on the grip and the twisting, gives me a very, very clear goal as to how I'm trying to move the club in space, lines it up beautifully, make sure there's no excess width, exposes the bounce, gets the club away from the ground. It might be one of the best drills ever. So we started with the worst, we made it a little bit better, we've moved to the best. Now if you like the content, don't forget to like, subscribe, leave some comments below, let me know your favorite drills, let me know if you use the stick drill, let me know if this is going to change the way you use the stick drill. Maybe pick up a TGT as well. All right, probably the most versatile training aid in golf. Not a particularly high cost, much less than a lesson. I think you'll like it.